Well, good evening, everyone. It's the Artie Dans here from the Asian Film Fans channel. We're back for another weekly live stream, our second one. And tonight I thought I'm going to do something a bit different. I'm going to have a special guest on. So I've got a special guest called Chan, and Chan's going to introduce himself right now. Chan, say hello to everyone watching.
Hello everyone. Thanks for having me. I am Chiu-wai. You might know me from the group Station Cinema Enthusiastic, or you might don't. But here I am, and it's my honor to be here.
Oh, Your Honor. Oh, thank you, sir. Let's just keep it nice and casual tonight. I don't think we need to be very formal with each other because we have known each other for a little while now, but it's your first time on the Asian Film Fans channel. Now, tonight, we've got a lineup of, I believe, 6 trailers. Most of them are translated, some of them aren't. And then we're going to have a discussion about the MEG 2, which I think some people tuning in are wanting to talk about the MEG 2. Chan, I want you to interrupt and tell me whatever you want about the MEG 2. You've already got a hello. That's just awesome. You've already got a hello.
Yeah, hi. Hello.
And then you and I are going to have a chat about anything that we want, but it's going to be about Asian cinema. Chan let me know before the show started that he's been on a bit of a Hong Kong binge. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to mention one thing, that I've been following this YouTube channel for quite some time, and being here myself is a bit different. So I want to apologize to the viewers in advance, and it's seriously an honor for me to be here.
Look, I appreciate it. And I think going forward, it's not only going to be yourself, but I believe Rhythm is probably going to join us as well for a bit of a really crazy chat. So I look forward to that.
Will be amazing.
It's going to be absolute trouble. Now you know the lineup. I told you the trailers that we had. Do you have a preference for which one we look at first?
Yeah, I'll tell you when it comes up.
Okay, so I can pick it then. I'll pick the first one.
Yeah, sure.
All right. I think we should watch Jung Yimul's Under the Light. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
All right. Let's give it a shot.
Yeah.
Trailer for more information about this movie. I always love seeing myself.
让我介绍一下，苏建明，正副市长的儿子，杨子。
你之前昨天晚上跟你吃饭的时候说什么了？
小时候他们家跑船，跑过钱，没少关照我，抽我嘴巴子，是不是？过年我去他们家厨房，他就给我丢那个米粉肉的肉片。
我哪里做错了吗？手里头肯定有拍我的视频吧？
每丢一片就喊这句：“狗杂种，狗杂种。”狗杂种，在！
你在我面前，你什么都不是。
正手呢，右手。
钱来有钱，官上还有官。惊弓之鸟，杯弓蛇影，你慢慢等。
他不能再喊我狗杂种了，舌头搁下去一半儿。
I love at the end that we've got a little sorry about the wait for it. What do you reckon of Under the Light? What do you think?
Well, the best part about the trailer was the censor.
I'm a big fan of Jung Yimul movies, and I think this is before the live stream started. You and I were talking about a Hong Kong movie called Where the Wind Blows. And you mentioned to me that you've been following the movie for about, 5 years?
Yeah, 6 or 5, something like that.
Under the Light is very similar. So the first bit of news that came out about that film was back in 2019, just before COVID. And then in 2020, the first trailer came out. And then all of a sudden, disappeared. No one talked about the movie at all. And then there was rumors that the film was being looked at by the Chinese government, as with all Zhang Yimou movies. But I think it looks great. I'm like I said, I'm a fan of Zhang Yimou films. What do you think of the cast? Do you know much about actual mainland Chinese films? Are you interested in the cast?
I, I I'm not exactly very familiar with mainland films. I try to stay a bit away from them because for many reasons, but I'm a big fan of the director as well. I practically grew up watching his film. The fact
Beautiful.
when I first watched, well, it's Zhang Yimou, right? You
It's Zhang
mentioned
Yimou, yeah.
the one who directed To Live, and recently, what did he what was the film?
Raise the Red Lantern.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
he's the director, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, before I watch his film, I always considered myself a very particular fan of cinema. Like I love watching martial arts films, classic martial arts films, Drunken Master, the Politicals, or I mean whatever those Sammo Hung, Jackie Chan films. But when I first watched Zhang Yimou's film, the first film I watched was probably To Live, Raise the Red Lantern, one of them. To Live, yeah, it was To Live. I was very down on myself. I was having lots of issues. When I watched To Live, I realized that there is more to cinema than martial arts film. And it was the time I started watching any type of film I can. So he's sort of like a very important director for me. And this film looked very different from the kind of film he directed or the ones I see so far. Mostly he made period films, classic films. This look a bit different, and seeing that he's constantly trying to do different things. So it's very, I'm going to watch it for sure because of him only.
Beautiful, yeah. Have you ever seen any Zhang Yimou films in the cinema?
Well, if they release one in Bangladesh, I will. That I can say.
Well, I saw Shadow in Chinese cinema, and I remember I saw it with my partner who watched it the day before, and then we got home that night because I was doing something different, and she said to me, you need to come to the cinema with me tomorrow and watch Shadow. And so she watched it twice in 2 days. It was a phenomenal movie in the cinema. I don't think I've seen any of his other films in the cinema yet, but we've got a comment there. Lei Jia-ying and Zhang Guoli are in it. They are great. Lei Jia-ying is from Assassin in Red. What was it called? Rider's Odyssey. Have you seen that?
I don't think I did.
And we've got another comment here. Yeah, we'll talk about that one in a little minute. Bao Jiao Long Zhong is another martial arts movie, not from Zhang Yimou. This movie, I understand, is dealing a little bit about. I don't think it's about corruption. I believe it's about a businessman who's doing something a little bit dicey, and Lei Jia-ying teams up with Dong Yu-zhao. Remember her from Better Days?
Yeah.
And I think they're going to investigate Hu Yu's character there. So I think this looks good. I hope this actually does get released on time. And there's no more delays.
Well, it's interesting because in his last film, Better Days actor Jackson Lee was there, and now he's working with the actress.
Sorry, which film was that?
The film in Zhang Yimou's last film, Full Red River. What was the name? Why can't I remember?
Red, yeah, Full River Red was.
Yeah. Jackson was there. Yeah. Better Days actor.
Oh, that's right. He was one of the main characters alongside Shen Ten.
Yeah, he was very charismatic in the film.
Now, while I've got you here, did you enjoy Full River Red?
I enjoyed it more than Hidden Blade, which I watched one day earlier.
I hated Hidden Blade. I really hated it. I really did not enjoy Hidden Blade at all. And I don't get the love that it gets. Probably just because it's got Tony Leung in it. I think everyone just kind of loves this film, but no.
I think it looked good. When you look, it looked good. The camera, location, costume, lighting.
Lighting, yeah. But it was very patriotic, and I really didn't like it.
Well, I can blame you for that, bro.
How about we move on to the next one?
Yeah.
All right, I'm going to pick a movie. I'm going to throw something different at you. I don't know anything about this film at all, and I've got no subtitles for it. So we're just going to have to watch it and have a bit of fun, okay?
Okay.
This is called X Kills Me.
思思，我爱你。我们在一起是命运的安排。
你工作的时候有什么奇怪的事情发生吗？
能有什么奇怪的事儿啊？
是不是回家了？
That's all I got. I got a short little teaser about it. Did you get anything out of it?
I did not, but I'm not going to make any comment because when A Guilty Conscious teaser was out, you know that film, A Guilty Conscious.
Yeah.
So when I saw the teaser, I'm not sure if I paid attention to it, but I told myself, what is this film? Why are they making this? But now it's the highest grossing local Hong Kong film, and I thought it was like 5 out of 5. So I'm not going to say anything bad about it. I learned my lesson with that one.
Actually, while we're talking about it, A Guilty Conscience, Deo Wong, could that be his best performance ever?
Well, among the ones I've seen, yeah.
Now, I haven't seen too many of his films either, but
Yeah,
the
he was known as like the poison of box office because most of his films were like disaster or flop, and now we're sitting here. He's about more than 60 years old. He now have the highest grossing Hong Kong film, A Guilty Conscious, and in second we have Warriors of Future. You come at third, Table for Six, another Dai Wong's film.
Deo Wong
That's
film,
extremely surprising.
Have you seen Table for Six?
Yeah, you bet I did.
And what is it? Good, bad? What do you think?
Yeah. I enjoyed watching that. I think it's one of the best Hong Kong film of the recent time.
Beautiful. That's
It had few issues that I did not like, but it was okay. It was 2 hours, which is quite unknown for a Hong Kong comedy, but the runtime is not issue.
Yeah.
As you said, 2 hours can feel like 6 hours or can feel like 10 minutes. Depends on the film.
Absolutely. 2 hours can feel like that with Where the Wind Blows. And then I watched Never Say Never the other day, and that felt like 15 minutes. A 2 hour movie just flew by. So, okay, so we just watched a trailer called X Killed Me, and we're both going to hold our judgment about that film until we know a bit more. But it looks like a Chinese mystery film, so it's probably going to be more crap than good, I would say.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It
no
looks
comment.
like
I know.
one of those films that keeps coming up for no reason.
Absolutely. Now, I think I'm going to put on Jackie Chan. This trailer for more
Do you
information
have a Jackie
about
Chan
this
film?
movie. I have a Jackie Chan film. Oh, I noticed. thoughts?
Well, I mean, it's a bit personal. Can I say it first?
Yeah.
I mean, we're in August, right? Today, what, 2 or 3? It was in 2013, I think, August 13th or something like that. On TV, I saw Who Am I? When I saw that Jackie Chan was performing the stunt, it was on that building stunt. You know that?
I
In Who Am
don't think
I?
I've seen Who Am I, actually, strangely.
Okay. So, I
Yeah.
mean, that's a quite popular stunt. I would recommend you to watch it. When I saw that Jackie Chan performing that stunt 10 years ago, I told myself, okay, I'm going to watch Hong Kong cinema from now. That was the time I made that resolution, and here I am 10 years later, still onto that resolution.
Thank you for sharing that. So then I suppose I could probably share with you, here in Australia, we have a TV channel called SBS, which shows foreign programs. And they showed a Jackie Chan movie one night, whose the name I cannot remember. And I remember the final fight was something like 15, 20 minutes long, finding this master on the middle of a dirt arena. I, for the life of me, cannot think of what the title's called. I remember the guy was constantly drinking, and I don't think it's the Drunken Master. So I'm similar to you. I saw Jackie Chan like you on a movie on television and thought, I've got to watch more of his movies. This one, from people are saying that it appears to be a sequel to The Myth, or A Myth.
Yeah. I did heard about it.
And can I be honest with you? I'm actually not sure this is a real trailer, to be honest, because no one else is talking about it. No one else has brought it up, and I find it very odd that I found this Jackie Chan trailer that no one's talking about. So
Well, people have not been talking about Jackie Chan nowadays. Are they?
No one is. No, you're right. No one is. Did you watch Hidden Strike?
Yeah, I did. Oh, the film you mentioned, I think it was The Young Master, the one you watch on the TV.
Oh, Young Master. Okay. Thank you. Finally, I have a title for it. Finally. Thank you.
Yeah, you can check later if I'm right or not.
I will. But what did you think of Hidden Strike?
I thought it's better not to think about it. But the chemistry between Jackie Chan and John Cena was surprisingly interesting, fun, because it was first announced as X Baghdad, and it was marketed as a Jackie Chan and Sylvester Stallone film. But when Sylvester Stallone was, I don't know whether he quit or what, but then John Cena was announced, and I never believed that there can be a chemistry between John Cena and Jackie Chan. I mean, it just sounded very odd to me personally.
Yeah.
But when I watched the film, it surprised me that the chemistry actually worked well, but the film did not in any sense.
So I think I remember reading your review now on Facebook about it, and I think I made a comment to you that it's not as bad as Bleeding Steel, at least. So that was my benchmark for terrible Jackie Chan movies, is Bleeding Steel. And the worst part is if he filmed it in Australia. That's just, I'm embarrassed to be in Australia and film that thing here. But you're right. Hidden Strike went through a lot of shit, and I believe it's not going to be released in China at all. That's my understanding. So that was because John Cena called Taiwan a country and upset everyone. And so now the movie suffered for it. Looking at the trailer of A Legend, or The Legend in the background, do you get feelings of Dynasty Warriors? The Louis Koo movie from a couple of years ago?
Oh, yeah, the film that has been on the news on nowadays.
What do you mean? What's it?
Yeah.
Yeah, why is it back on the news? The Dynasty Warriors. What's happened?
No, I mean, I just heard people talking about it. I don't know much about it. What is happening with the film?
Oh, Dynasty Warriors came out, what is it, 2 years ago, hit Netflix. That was another movie that got
Wait, it was released?
It was released. Yeah, it's
Oh, sorry. I think I mixed it with another film. He's supposed to do a remake of a series Back into the Past, a sequel, remake, reboot, something like this. I think I mixed
yeah.
up.
That hasn't come out yet. That's been mysteriously delayed. I've got a theory. Every time a Lewis Koo movie gets delayed, I have this theory that he is going to China to get funding. And every time he does it, he has to change the movie because, and I've got a reason for this, Warriors of Future was never a co-production. It was always a Hong Kong film, if you remember. And then all of a sudden, it was a Chinese Hong Kong co-production. It got delayed and things changed. So I've got this, sneaking feeling that Lewis Koo keeps going to the mainland for money.
Well, we can't blame him. At least he's trying.
Well, true. What's your opinion of Lewis
About
Koo?
this film, the trailer we saw, Jackie Chan's film, is going to be another collab with Stanley Tong.
Yeah.
The director, he made quite a lot of films with him. Back in the days, Police Story 3, Police Story 4, what else they did? The Meat, Kung Fu Yoga, Rumble in the Bronx. I don't find the director as someone who's very effective. If you watch those old films, Rumble in the Bronx or Super Cop, those are Jackie Chan films. He's doing everything. What you're doing as a director is the action that is making the films. But now when he's old, now he needs assistance from the director to make him look charming, charismatic, what he's doing. The films with him is not working at all, and I'm not optimistic about it. I'm saying that it's going to be crap here.
I think everyone's going in with the impression that it's going to be crap. What did you think of Ride On?
I thought it was over long and boring.
Okay, so you and I disagree on that one. I thought Ride On was probably Chan's best movie in a long time.
Yeah, I agree with that, but in general, it's not that good. I mean, for Jackie Chan's standard, it was surprisingly well, but if you ask me to make a comment, generally, it's not a film that I'd call, okay, it's good. But for Jackie Chan's films, he's The Foreigner, it was good.
Well, The Foreigner is a benchmark, I think, of how to get Jackie Chan to probably act really well. And you'd think because
at this moment I'm fully excited for New Police Story 2, which is probably going to be a Hong Kong production or co-production, but I believe that it's going to be a Hong Kong dominated film. Nicolas Cage is going to direct the film. Well, a film was announced a few months ago, I think, a sequel to New Police Story, the film that released about 19 years ago. Yeah. There was Daniel Wu, Nicolas Cage.
Oh. Okay. Well, I'll have to keep an eye out.
It was the most surprising film. I mean, nobody see that coming, and suddenly it was on the news. Everybody was shocked. Nobody believed that we are going to get a second part of that film. And who's directing the film? Nicolas Cage. Jackie Chan only agreed to do the film because Nicolas Cage was directing. He have a good relationship with Nicolas Cage, and when Nicolas Cage approached Jackie Chan, he thought it was exciting, and I think it's going to be his. I think, not sure, he's going to be his Cantonese film after maybe 20 years. I mean, not 20, like 70 or 18 years. 17 or 18 years.
If that's true, that's a pretty brave move to be a fully Hong Kong only movie because, the temptation to go to the mainland to get their money is far too big.
I'm not sure it's going to be fully a Hong Kong film, but it's probably going to be shot in Hong Kong, and we are going to see mostly Hong Kong actors and crews.
Beautiful. I'll bring it on. I think we're desperate for a really good action movie. Now, speaking of Hong Kong, I'm finally going to play you the Hong Kong trailer. And I think you know what it is because I told you beforehand. But let's get it started. This trailer for more information about this movie.
其实孟云的死，你不用怪自己。
Fortunately, I
你
have
的
the
错。
Mandarin trailer. Sorry about that.
我要亲手抓他。
当年那件案子，他是重要证人。
我发现那天爆炸时间是4:13，但我手机显示的却是4:15，到底是怎么回事？爆炸完之后，我还能跟我的女朋友讲电话。
所有的推理证据都是你说给我们听的，我们有理由怀疑你就是凶手。
如果死了，下辈子再嫁给你。
那天爆炸之前，你有没有听到其他的爆炸声？
如果你想保住你的秘密，就什么都别做。
住手！我叫你住手！不这么做怎么找到大卡呢？
抓到大卡之后，也是时候该放下我了。
这是你最后的机会。
So, what do you think?
When I first heard about this film, I told my friends that okay, let this film come. I'm going to spam all over my Facebook group, my timeline with this film because I'm actually damn excited about this film. But suddenly it was nowhere, and I'm very happy that finally I got to see the trailer. Thanks to you.
Thank you.
But unfortunately, in Mandarin, that took away most of the fun. But I'll take it over nothing.
So I have to say, where I get the trailers from is a mainland Chinese marketing website. So unfortunately, most of the trailers that hit there are in Mandarin. Occasionally, I get lucky with a Cantonese trailer like I did with White Storm 3. But unfortunately, most of the time I end up with Mandarin. And that's the case that's happened here. Of the actors that are in the film, there are three big actors. There's Justin Chung, there's Francis and Mr. Koo themselves. I'm pretty sure...
I think it's Julian Chung, not just
Julian Chung. Sorry, not Justin.
Julian,
You're right.
yeah.
Julian. I'm pretty sure Louis Koo may be the only one who dubs himself in Mandarin. I think the others are not their own voices, which makes it really annoying. What do you know about this movie?
I think it's probably about a serial killer. Before he kill, he kind of send a notice that I'm going to kill this person, and this is the time I'm going to kill. This is how I'm going to kill. Just stop me if you can. He send this letter to police, and they try everything they can, but ends up failing every time. And based on the trailer, I think the killer, it appears to be Louis who is the killer, but we'll see. It's not clear yet.
There you go, ladies and gents. You've heard it first. Chan is calling it early. Louis Koo is the killer in Death Notice. We'll see. When the movie comes out in a couple months, we'll see how correct you are. I believe this trailer actually gives away a little bit more. It looks like Julian. There we go. Keep making the same mistake. Julian Chung's girlfriend is some kind of bomb disposal expert. Gives off a bit of Shockwave vibes. Clearly, Herman Yao, Shockwave. And it looks like he detonates the bomb that she is about to discharge. That's the vibe I'm getting from the trailer, and that's why the police say, all the evidence is pointing to you. Now, did you know that this was based on a series of very popular mainland Chinese novels?
Yeah, I knew it was based on a novel, but I was not sure if it was from mainland China.
I believe it is quite, and I had actually a look on Google. You can actually find, I think, translated versions to read. So I think they're that big.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'll choose to watch the film instead.
Fair enough. Does the movie remind you of anything else?
I think it looks like, to me, it's pretty conventional Herman Yao film, the kind of film he's directing. For me, I really love him, honestly, because he's not going to give a masterpiece, the best film of the year. He will never do that. I personally think, but he always comes up with a way to keep us entertained, no matter what the film he's making. There is always something. Few days ago, I was watching The Mockfather. It was directed by him, Herman Yao. And I did not believe that the the film could be interesting. But when I watched the film, it was pretty entertaining. I think he's probably the most consistent Hong Kong director at this moment. He's been
Wow, cool.
constantly directing pretty entertaining film. I personally enjoy watching them.
Okay. So if I was to ask you, whoa, someone's getting a mobile phone call. I think you're getting a mobile phone call. If I was to ask you your favorite Herman Yao movie, what would you say it is?
It's very difficult because, as I said, there's nothing stand out. It's almost like all pretty same line.
Yeah.
So mentioning one favorite film, I'll probably have to check. But as I say, what could I name? Nothing comes out.
That's all right. I like all of his early collaborations with Anthony Wong. Some of those Cat 3 nasties that they did were pretty damn full on.
Yeah. They did few recently as well.
Which one?
The sleep cars, and the Mob Father, which I mentioned.
So okay.
Yeah. Go on.
No, your turn. I'm talking too much.
For both of the film, I had the same impression that these are not standout films, but you sit, watch, you are not going to get bored in the film. That's it.
Yep. Herman Yao, why does he look like a 60-year-old heavy metal lead singer? He does. Long hair, punk t-shirts. I mean, I can see why you think he's a pretty consistent Hong Kong director, because he looks like he's in his 30s. He really does. The way his presence.
Man, I would love to look like him. Honestly.
Personally, I think there's a lot of drugs there, so maybe not.
Okay, I'll leave that part out.
What did you think of Shockwave 2?
Shockwave 2.
Yeah.
Shockwave 2. As I said, for Harmonious film, I watched them and then I forgot what was happening. But I can say that they're pretty decent and entertaining.
Yeah.
And Shockwave as well. I enjoyed both of them. And actually, since we're on to Death Notice, I think I want to mention this, that I'm a huge fan of Francis Wong. Huge fan. I really hated the fact that he did not win Best Actor award for Drifting. He should have won that award. He should have. He has been criminally snubbed. It was Patrick Say, Nicholas's father. He won it for Time.
Okay. Yeah.
And back in 2003, he deserved it for Infernal Affairs 3, but they give it to Andy Lau for Running on Karma. I mean, I like Andy Lau, but it was Francis Wong's award. In both cases, Drifting and Infernal Affairs 3, I think they criminally snubbed him. I could not accept it.
So it sounds like he's going to be one of those actors that will never find the accolades that he deserves, even though he's in a lot of great films.
What I believe is he will, because Hong Kong really have this habit. They will give him a lot later when he don't deserve it, taking away from someone who deserves this, like a consolation prize.
I've got a question for you about Hong Kong cinema. Are you concerned that we only get the same 10 or 15 actors in every movie, and that we don't seem to have talent coming up?
I was very concerned about this till this year, but then suddenly I would not call Dai Wang a new actor, but he's not someone we talk about, we count on him. But for us, he's kind of like a new face, right? Coming up with Guilty Conscious, Table for Six, and then a lot of actually new actors are coming, especially the pop idols from Mirror. There is Idan Lai, there is Anson Law, Kyung Tu. I think we're going to see a lot of new Hong Kong actors in future.
I hope so. I really hope so, because
they have got the market. In Hong Kong, if you go now, you're not going to miss any mirror member. The poster, billboard is everywhere.
Okay. I just don't want the fifth Storm movie to be announced, and they're kind of running out of letters. Let's call it A Storm. I don't want A Storm to be announced and to have Lewis Koo, Lewis Chung, everyone else who's always in the same goddamn movies together. Please, just spice it up a bit, fellas. Just give us something different.
No, I mean, we might not get another Storm film, but I don't see any difference. Like Line Walker, I'm not sure if you have seen this, but when I watch it, it feels like it's just another Storm film.
Yeah, no, I haven't seen Line Walker.
Not no Storm in title, but same. How many Storm films he has been doing? I think he did about 8 films with the title of Storm in last 10 years.
Yes, Drugs.
Drugstorm,
White Storm, G Storm.
There's 3 part of the White Storm and 5 part of Storm series.
And you're right, they can't make any more Storm movies because they finally killed off Lewis Koo's character in G Storm.
Yeah.
Finally.
Oh, that's a spoiler.
Yeah. Oh, you haven't seen it. Oh, sorry.
No. I did. I'm saying for the audience.
No one cares about
you probably saved them though.
Yeah,
from the
I've saved you the effort of watching G Storm. Lewis Koo
for the Storm series. What I find it the funniest is the one with the worst title. Peace Storm was actually decent. That was decent. I enjoyed that part, and that was the only part I enjoyed. Yeah.
Storm. Do you know what I don't like about Peace Storm? There is a scene towards the end where they're in the safe house and the good guys and the bad guys are shooting at each other. And it can't be a room any bigger than 3 or 4 meters. And everyone misses everyone. And it drove me fucking insane that no one could hit anyone in the damn room. That lost me, that did. That really lost me. So,
well, that was at the end. Was not it at the end?
On the helicopter.
Well, you came to the end though. You could see it till the end. I'll give you that.
It was only 80 minutes long, so it's not like it was a long movie, but you know. And then I saw G Storm in the cinema. Can you believe it? And then, do you know what made it worse? 2 days later, I got COVID. I blame G Storm for getting COVID. Yeah. Bad luck. I'm trying to think, because I love Lewis Koo. I am a big Lewis Koo fan. And I'm trying to think.
What would you call his best performance? Because nowadays he doesn't look like he put a lot of effort to his acting. But for his earlier films, I find him more charming. A film that he did 20 years ago or 15 years ago. That's my personal opinion. What would you say?
Okay, so firstly, I agree with you that Lewis Koo has never... I don't think he's actually ever made a good film. But if I was to pick one, it would be Rob B. Hood. That's probably my most enjoyable Lewis Koo film. And then 3, but only because Johnny To did it. What do you think?
I'm sorry.
I think
I couldn't.
Chan's freezing up. Hold on. We might have to give Chan a second. Are you okay now? You're back, Chan? Yeah.
Sorry, I can't hear you and I can't hear anything. Can you hear me?
Sorry. Yeah, no, I can hear you back. We might have just had a small technical glitch there. I was just saying the only Lewis Koo movies I think I find good are Rob B. Hood and potentially 3, but that's only because Johnny To was involved in 3, and Vicky and what's her name's in it? Yeah, Vicky Zhao is in it. Otherwise, I like Lewis Koo, but I don't think he's ever really made a good film, and he is a terrible actor. His face is so plastic. So then, why do I like him? Good question. Very good question. I think we've lost Chan. So sorry, Chan. I might just let you go for the evening. Thank you for joining us today, Chan. That was fun to have you on board. I'll take over the rest of the show now and just continue on. We've got 2 more trailers, and then we've got a discussion about the Meg 2. So let's take a look at this trailer. Oh, Chan's trying to come back, but I don't think he will. So let's take a look at this trailer. This is for a Japanese film called Revolver Lily.
台湾で特殊な戦闘能力を持つスパイを養成していました。小曽根は重原が生んだ最高傑作です。機密文書とガキを必ず連れてこい。力なくして国を守ることなどできる。
生きることにしたから。
Don't know what to make of this one. Oh, they've got no audio. That's been the theme of the night. No audio. So the plot of this film, this is called Revolver Lily. This is from Japan. This is an action adventure film. This takes place in 1924 and centers on Yuri, who kills 7 people as a spy for going underground. Revolver Lily. There she encounters an orphan whose family was murdered and holds the key to finding a large sum of money reported missing by the Imperial Japanese Army. They must fight. But with the army of soldiers after them, they must fight to survive. Really, I really just butchered that synopsis at all. But that is a movie called Revolver Lily. New one coming out from Japan. 2023. No release date on that one yet. Cast is Haruka Ayase and Etsushi Toyokawa. Sorry. Again, I don't know too much about Japanese films. So I try to watch Japanese films whenever I can. And I usually like the action films as well. A lot of the monster films too. This one, I don't know too much about. This one just popped up today, so I'm hoping that that this one gets a bit of a wide release. It looks a bit of fun. Nothing like a good Japanese movie to kind of settle in and watch. So that's called Revolver Lily. And that is coming out in 2023. If you've got some thoughts or ideas about that movie, just leave me a comment below. We can have a bit more of a discussion about it. Now, we're going to get into the main part of tonight. And that is the Meg 2. So we've got one more trailer for the Meg 2. Trailer for more information about this movie. Thanks, Dan. And then we'll have a chat about it.
Welcome to Fun Island. Just don't miss out on the grilled shark.
Any sign of the match?
This doesn't look good.
Whoa, what is that?
Probably the last Meg 2 trailer that we'll have, because now the movie's officially out.
Come on, you ugly bastard.
About me. Who would have ever thought we would ever team up together?
Just a little bit.
So that's the Meg 2, The Trench. So unfortunately, or fortunately for me, the Meg 2 came out today here in Australia. And so I made my way down to the cinema at lunchtime to watch it. And I gotta say, I'm not super impressed with it. And that's a bit disappointing. It's disappointing because I really thought that it would be a really great movie. Well, not a great movie. Okay, let's be honest. It was a shark movie. It was never going to be great. But I thought it would be a little bit more fun. And I thought there'd be a lot more sharks in it. And that's the problem. all the stuff that you see in the trailers about the Meg 2, they're about all the shark you actually get in the damn film. The movie ends up being this silly kind of action film about mining for rare earth minerals under the thermal cloud, and kind of forgets that it's a shark movie, which is a bit disappointing. Now, I don't want to spoil the film for anyone who's going to watch it, or obviously who hasn't watched it yet, just because we've been fortunate enough here in Australia to catch it early. And I wouldn't say, no, don't go see it. Just go in and be warned or pre-prepared before you go in that the shark element isn't that big in the film. And that's the most disappointing part of it, is that if you're hoping to see heaps and heaps and heaps of Megs, no, it doesn't happen. And there's big chunks of the movie where there's just no shark talk at all, as they're more concerned about all of this mining shit that's going on in the film, and hardly ever touching a lot of the stuff about the actual Meg itself. So that leads to the biggest disappointment of the film, is that there is just not enough Meg. Now, if you're watching this trailer in the background, last night before going to the cinema, I actually rewatched the first Meg so I could, remember who some of the characters were, remember some of the side stories, etc. It was funny to see that the lady from the first Meg who's getting married and has the little dog, the little Pomeranian or whatever the hell it is, makes a reappearance in this film. And you can see her, and that's her there in the pink dress, and her dog's in the film. So, there is a couple of references to the first movie coming back in the Meg 2. Some repeat characters. I, for one, am glad that Ruby Rose is not in it. Yeah, I am. I don't care the fact that I'm Australian and she's Australian. Just it's a better film without her. Another thing that was a bit disappointing is it doesn't actually explain anything about what happened to Li Binbin's character Su Ying. It doesn't. It just says that in 2021 she died. That's all we find out. We don't find out how she died. We don't find out what her relationship with Jonas ended up being. So Mei Ying seems to be Jonas's stepdaughter, but there's no kind of explanation about how that relationship came to be. Now, Wu Jing plays Zhu Ming, and he is Mei Ying's real uncle in the film. Yeah, that makes sense, right? He's her real uncle in the film. His character is the brother of Su Ying from the first movie, and obviously the dad as well. And he makes a couple of references to that. And you also see Li Bingbing and the father in the film through some pictures that goes through. And that's, there's been the other issue that I've had with this movie about the whole Manor 1 setup. It looks very, very well set up. I really wished that the movie had just focused on being a shark film. And again, it was something that I mentioned in the review that I did of the film, that there's a subplot in the movie about sharks mating. It's mating season for the Megs. And I'm sitting there in my seat thinking, wow, that would have been a much better topic for the film, right? Imagine you've got Jonas and Zhu Ming have got to try and get the Megs back under the thermal cloud because they've come out of the thermal cloud, and maybe that needs to be explained a bit more. Because they've started to mate, and now they've got to try and figure out what they're going to do with all these extra Megs. Like, to me, that would have been a great story to explore. Instead, they've gone down this whole, well, there's a bad group of bad guys here. They're doing this mining, and, we've got to stop this mining operation. Oh, and by the way, there's some sharks. No, doesn't work. This movie very much gives off a feeling of a Chinese monster film. Now, Chinese monster films aren't that bad. They're actually quite a lot of fun. And the Meg 2 plays up to that. But I think it needed to lean more into its Americanness and less into its Chineseness. And we needed to get a more proper Meg movie, not a China does a Meg 2 film. So if you're planning to see this, enjoy it. Look, there's no reason why you shouldn't enjoy it. Just, You're not going to get a lot of shark. It's a lot more action than shark. And be forewarned about that. If you're going to wait for video, well, that's probably a good idea. Maybe just watch it at home on a nice big screen and a nice loud sound system. You'll get a lot out of the film. Visual effects are terrific. I actually thought visually, with the exception of the octopus, I thought the actual visual effects in the movie were terrific. And it's good to see. It's good to see that the movie at least tries to do a lot of the stunts themselves, and you can see that in the behind the scenes video. That's Jason Statham tries to do a lot of his own stunts, and so does Wu Jing. And in fact, there's a scene where Wu Jing kind of dives out of the helicopter that really reminded me of Wolf Warrior 2. So that's a bit of a rundown on the Meg 2. If you've seen it or want to see it, drop a comment below. We'll have a chat about it. Before we head off, we've got a comment here about a film, a martial arts film called Ba Jiao Long Zhong. And that is, in English, called Never Say Never. That is the latest film from Wang Baoqiang. That movie is being released this week as well in cinemas. It's also released a couple of weeks ago in China. So worldwide gets it this week. That's coming from our friends at China Lion. And it's a great film. So if you get a chance to go see this Never Say Never, and you want to see something a little bit different, it's a great film. It's a 2-hour-long film that did not feel like 2 hours at all. There is a review on the channel if you'd like to, go back to the channel and have a look. Never Say Never is the title. Ba Jiao Long Zhong is the Chinese title of the film. As KL says here in the comment, it was a good one that they had watched recently, and I wholeheartedly agree with them. It's a terrific film. Anyway, we've come to the end of tonight's show. 50 minutes of hearing me talk a lot of crap. We watched a few trailers. We had Chan on as a bit of a special guest. Unfortunately, Chan's internet was playing up a little bit, so he couldn't stay with us for the entire episode, but we will catch him the next time that we do another live stream. I hope you've enjoyed tonight, and I hope you've enjoyed maybe watching the replay. Leave a comment below. Maybe we can read it out in the next episode. Otherwise, maybe next week, maybe the week after, we'll do another live show here on Asian Film Fans. Thank you for watching. See you next time.